Good evening.
Good evening.
The Twiggs County Board of Education is now called to order. The meeting is now called to order. Today is Tuesday, July the 23rd, 2019. And the time is 6:02 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in a moment of silence, and as you do, remember a special prayer for Mr. Dixon and his family. His brother's gravely ill, and just remember him and his family in your prayers. Thank you. You may be seated. I'm proud to say that all of our members are here at the meeting tonight. We are all present and ready to take care of our agenda. You see the agenda before you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting, July the 23rd, 2019?
Madam Chair, I make the motion to approve the agenda.
The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Mr. Rouse to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting, July the 23rd, 2019. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. And if you'll look through your packet, you'll see approval of the minutes for July the 9th and July the 11th, 2019. July the 9th was the BOE regular session, and July 11th was the call board session when we met Dr. Dickey. So if you will look through those, and as soon as you feel so moved, will you make the motion to approve those minutes for those meetings?
Madam Chair, I would like to make the motion to approve the minutes for July 9th, 2019 and July 11th meetings.
Okay, motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Ms. Stokes to approve the minutes of our July 9th BOE regular session and July 11th, 2019 call board session. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. And at this time, we're going to ask Ms. Blackshear if she will deliver an ethics statement for us, please.
Thank you. In accordance with regulations set forth by the Georgia Ethics Commission, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflict of interest or interest of such conflict. Does any board member have any known conflicts of interest scheduled before us or appearing on our proposed agenda? Madam Chair, we will proceed with our agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. And at this time, we're going to ask Mr. Dixon for our superintendent's comments and announcements, please.
Madam Chair, I want to say, and Mr. Vice Chair, fellow board members, thank you for the job that you do. We are busy getting ready for our teachers to return on the 1st, and we will be ready for them. We will open the building up for teachers coming in and getting classrooms ready. They're excited to be here, and we're excited to have them coming in. Our students' open house will be on August the 3rd, and students will return on August the 6th. And we're getting those buses ready to ride, and our custodial staff is busy getting the buildings ready, and we are so excited. It was a wonderful gift for our teachers to be able to go shopping, and we do have some video clips of that. It was a wonderful thing for our new teachers to be able to do that, and I think it was an exciting time to welcome them to our school district. Madam Chair, Vice Chair, fellow board members, I do want to make a point of clarity that this board, nor myself, never made an attempt to charge anything for the use of our facilities, for anything, for any use for the upbuilding of the kids nor the citizens of Twiggs County. It has been my goal since my tenure as superintendent of Twiggs County Public Schools to build this community. I have worked very hard to invest and build the lives of boys and girls. I have brought many resources, never to slight or to tear down or to prevent the boys and girls from any resources that anyone wanted to bring into this community. Sometimes we enter into the negotiation process, we enter into agreements with people, we enter into MOUs, and we have to stand by those MOUs. We do have a use of facilities policy that was set in place by this board. And we do follow the use of facilities policies. We do waive that at times. But there are times when we do ask for certain coverages, such as custodial coverage and security coverage. And Madam Chair, that concludes my announcements.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dixon, for that. And with that being said, we're going to move on to our business agenda. That is item 8, and the first item, item A, is the issue of the old high school cleanup and monument project, and this is from the class of 1969.
Yes, Mr. Charlie Rich Stevens is here, and we would love to have him come.
Welcome.
And we would also, Madam Chair, this is also the class that gave us the donation, and we have the check. Their money is good.
On behalf of the class of '69 and all of the classes that came through the old Jeffersonville High School, not only those that graduated, but the one that attended that school, we're coming together trying to form a group to, first of all, clean up, you know, those trees and everything just growed up, looked like a wilderness. What we want to ask for permission to clean that up, and our ultimate goal is to do some type of monument. And so we come to find out what we need to do, what papers we need to sign, if any, just how do we go about it. And whatever we do, we want it to be permanent. You know, whatever monument we put there, it's gonna be something that's gonna be good for the community, and it's, you know, something to be there for life. So, you know, just let me know what we need to do, because we got a lot of people who's interested in it, and we just need to go ahead to. You know, number one thing we wanna do first is clean it up. Clean it up, plant some grass, and then look at what we can do and what type of monument we can put there.
So, Madam Chair, we need to draft up an MOU with this class and authorize us to move forward with entering into an MOU with the class of '69 to work as partnership to get this done.
And so maybe we can move into that by our next meeting, Mr. Dixon. I mean,
We
to
will-
be, have
we will-
something to
we will
discuss.
draw up the MOU and
by the
have an
next
MOU
meeting.
for you all to approve.
So that's what we'll do. We'll go up into an agreement about what to do, and hopefully have something by the next meeting to discuss to, do that by then.
Does
Thank
that meet
you.
y'all's timeframe?
That's fine, that's fine.
And we appreciate your work. We appreciate what you do. I was looking around the room trying to find someone who would have been class of '69, and I couldn't find him.
That's
We
him.
just thank you. We thank you for your work.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
thank
The old
you
high
for what
school
you
is the
do.
one that
That's
the garage guys got.
Right. Yeah.
Y'all gonna run him out too?
Well, no, we don't want to say that now.
Cause I know he's been there a long time, so I didn't know.
But we wanna give everything from the road a facial look, you know, we
Yeah,
wanna address that.
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you for that.
All right,
Thank you for
Thank you, sir.
coming. All right, our next item on the agenda is an information item, and Ms. Harris is going to present, information about the school psychologist.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, board members, community stakeholders. I just wanted to give you this information about, possible options for contracted services for school psychologists this year. As you can see, the hourly rate ranges from $63 to $80 on the higher end. On average, the school psychologist works 10 hours a week between on-site and writing reports and doing observations and things like that. So our average yearly cost is in the far column, and based on those hourly rates. So last year, we spent $30,240 on psychology services.
Who was our provider?
Mr. Evans.
So what happens from here, cause this is information, so we don't, do we need to? Move on this next, or you just?
I would like to move on as soon as possible. However, if it's just information item tonight, I'd like for you to look at it and think about it, ask any questions you may have. And we could talk our way through it.
Madam Chair, it's presented to us as information here, and we'll take it as a person.
Personnel, we'll take it in
Okay,
personnel.
alrighty. Anybody have any questions or concerns?
This was behind the,
Thank you.
Do you have one?
you have one, Ms. Stokes, you have one of these, Ms. Stokes? Okay. All right, Shane, okay.
So the proposal is,
Well, I'm proposing that we go with Ms. Evans since he is the lowest cost, overall, and he does work with us currently. But that is not, that is totally up to how you all decide in personnel, but that would be my recommendation, personally.
currently we have him as a contracted employee.
Yes,
We're looking to bring him over.
no, he would still be contracted. We don't, I don't know if we wanna do that and possibly have to pay benefits and things like that. That would put us into, if we brought him over into a position, that would possibly put us in a situation. If he does 10 hours, we wouldn't have to pay benefits. We wouldn't, but we still have to pay FICA. Okay, so,
So it's contracted, we're just looking to renew.
yes, we're looking to either renew Mr. Evans or go with another option.
How was his performance? How did he do?
His performance has been fine. We get reports. We've done, this year, we've done 4 Head Starts, about 4 or 5 at the elementary school, and we've done about 10 real vows through the course of the year. And today we did 3 students. He was on site today, and we did evaluation for 3 students, 1, referral from Babies Can't Wait, and 2, elementary school students.
Per your knowledge, have we ever utilized any of the services that's presented before us in previous years?
No,
And how long has he been with us?
this is his 2nd year. Prior to this, we used another, individual contracted school psychologist, and she's just been unable to, help us because she had some family issues and some medical issues prior to. That made it harder for her to continue.
Are there any services that the other providers would be able to provide us that he doesn't or wouldn't be able to?
No, their service, ranges are about the same. Possible additional costs with them would be mileage, because most of them would probably charge us some type of mileage for the service providers to travel.
And he's not doing
And he's not doing that currently, no.
And when I first came, we did have a psych on staff,
Yeah.
but we have not had one, since the first year on staff.
Yeah. And ideally, having an on-staff person would be ideal, but across the state of Georgia, I think there's only like 5,000 school psychologists.
It's a shortage.
And so there's a tremendous shortage of 5,000 school psychologists for about 1.5 million kids, especially, or something like that. So it's a major shortage. So the possibility of getting someone full-time is rare unless you're at a larger district.
We used to get them from RISA, used to get them.
And-
Years ago, we would get, the RISA would contract out and send the school psychologist to several different.
Yes,
the
yes
neighboring
ma'am.
school
In some of
districts.
our,
They don't do that anymore.
absolutely, and that's what we did probably about 10 or so
Yeah,
years
back
ago,
in
because
the
we still
day.
have some student files that have those RISA psychologists in there. But now RISA can't even find psychologists. And we've contracted with RISA for services that we may now have to contract out, but that's another story for another day.
So you work directly with the school psychologist,
Yes,
and this comes from you as a recommendation to keep what we have.
yes.
Okay, any other questions, any other comments? All right, we'll take this up in personnel, thank you, Ms.
Okay,
Harris.
thank you.
Our next item will be item C, and that is our end of the year financial status. This is an information item. Mr. Austin. And guest. Special helper today. Come on.
She job shattered dead of the night, so train them young. Financial status, so as we prepare to close, good evening.
Good evening.
As we prepare to close, I wanted to provide just figures, which is in your orange folder, I'm sorry. And it will be a short summary of showing what we have coming in and out. And normally around this time, we're closing the end of the year, so I did not want to show an actual report like you normally are accustomed to seeing throughout the year, because it would not be accurate. We're still accounting for a lot of expenditures and revenues as we come through July and August. But I did want to take the opportunity to show you what revenues and expenditures came in the month of June as cash or cash flow. That's not accrued. I do feel it's important to still maintain transparency and do show you the status of our system. So I wanted to take the time to do that, and this is why it's an information item opposed to an action item tonight.
Can you talk about figures of what you presented to us, a summary of those figures?
Sure, so attached to that sheet is actually the, what revenues came in, local taxes, our state QBE funding as well. This is a real normal month. What we did in June for expenditure wise is I made sure that a lot of our expenses that would normally come in July or August, that we really pushed to get a lot of things before June 30th. Because this will give a more accurate picture of what would take place in July and August. So the expenditures are a little more, and that's normally the most common thing around this particular time. And so, according at the end, the change of fund balance was about $158,000. That's just saying that that's how much less we did not have to cover the expense for the month. But of course, we're looking for just a snapshot of the month. But overall, we still have a real good opportunity to maintain our neutral status that we're projecting it, but possibly add. Because we did have some cost savings that took place and some other monies that came that we were actually looking at. So I feel pretty good about the end of year close.
So, okay, so for June, this is that we took in that 550,
That 500, yes ma'am.
and then we paid out 707,000 a month. So
Yes,
that
ma'am.
left a negative balance there, but then there was, that's not the fund
That's
balance.
not the final
There's
picture at
That's
all.
not the final picture, okay.
Correct, so but we still have
Okay.
July and August
So
of
we
revenue
still
to go
need to
through.
just get that, okay.
Yes ma'am, but I did want to show you at least
Okay.
where you were. Yes ma'am.
You know, I don't know if you all that have been around for a while, we would go from June through September sometimes and not get a report for a long time.
Mhm.
And I think, Ms. Blackshear, you asked that we not go that long without getting a report. So, that's why, Mr. Austin said, you know, even though it's a partial report, let's bring that report. So that's why we have this. And that's why it's not an action item, it is a information item. Any questions, board members? All right, thank you, Ms. Dawson.
All right, he's still up, he has one more, and this is our information, no, this is an action item, and, this is the salary and supplements, Mr. Austin.
So each year, before we actually start a payroll, which our payroll will be July 31 this year, that's also in your orange folders. This information has been decimated a few times through email, and we, in the process of posting this information to our website. Here you will see the state certified salary schedule, which encompasses the $3,000 raise that we talked about. You will see the classified schedules, which consist of each individual in our district outside of certificated employees. We made strides this year to ensure everyone was on a scale so that we can tie back to the actual field. So you will see that information as well. Supplements, you will see the administrative supplements, and you will also see athletic supplements in this particular handout that you have in your folder. All this was revised throughout the year, and this is what we currently have revised as of June and July of 2019. And we have to approve these particular items because the auditors do like to see that we have board review and support of what we're paying out to our district employees.
I have a question about the administrative supplements. I see the
Sure.
middle school principal supplement there. If we do not have a named middle school principal supplement, then that does not go anywhere until someone's
Correct.
named.
Correct, yes.
And then the at-risk youth administrator, who is that presently in our system?
We don't have one.
Okay? And then the pre-K director.
Mr. Dawson.
Okay. Okay. And this first schedule is our teacher schedule?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
that's our certified teacher, this one.
Mhm.
That's the teacher one.
And you notice at the bottom of that one, it's the local supplements per their certificate level.
Okay, okay.
So that's something I do wanna know, that has remained the same. We have not adjusted that for 1920, but of course they did get the $3,000, so, you know, we'll look into it, Ms. Frank.
Was there any big difference, any big changes for us, the supplements from?
Administrative supplements? No, ma'am. All the figures remain the same.
And Mr. Harris, you can see that, that's the teacher supplement, that very first one is the teacher one. Mr. Brown, did you see that?
Yeah.
That's the teacher supplement. Okay. That's the teacher, I'm sorry, salary schedule and the supplement at the bottom. As you look through this, this is an action item, Mr. Dixon,
Yes, ma'am.
and your recommendation.
My recommendation is seek approval.
So if you look through this, if you feel so moved as you look through, if you feel moved to approve the supplements as presented, please do so at any time.
I have one other question.
Go ahead.
Who is director? The one under athletic director?
They just say director.
Who is that? And just anybody?
That's anyone that has
Title?
the title director, yes, ma'am.
Title CTA Director, Title I Director, Title II, Title II Director.
Might be a good idea to list these and
List
departments also, because I'm just curious to why did we add the at-risk administrator, considering we don't have one? Are we looking to get one? Have we previously had one? Why did it make the cut for the salary schedule?
Sure, great question.
We
We
had-
had one last year. So what I did, instead of removing any particular items for future program, I just left them as is. And so if we made a determination as a LEA that we were not gonna hire said individually, then I will remove. But I did just wanna keep it up there, cause it was there last
We
year.
did have, we've added in the past.
Is there a reason we don't?
We took that position from a certificated person to a non-certificated.
Gotcha. We just haven't filled the position.
We filled the position, but we no longer use it. We're not, at this time, we're not using a certificated person for that position. So it's not an
There's no
administrative,
supplement for
yes, not a need for a supplement for that position.
And how many will fall under the director? I know you said the, CT, how many is it?
So most of the central office directors fall up under that category. Last year, it was called central office director, but that was a little misleading because it encompassed more than just central office people. So we wanted to add a little more broad term so that we can encompass more people, but we can list those individuals as you requested, that's not an issue. But it was misleading just to say central office supplement, director supplement, because you had people in the school level that could qualify for that, like the CTA director, for example.
That was the only school level, I think, that got a CTAE director.
So it's kind of hard for us to tie when the auditor asks, why is the school level person getting this supplement and they're not in the central office? So we had to make an adjustment for that. But we can list them out, whatever you all request.
And it still may be the case that CTAE may be the only one that's on school level.
Right.
Gotcha.
But we can list that out, that's not a problem. Clarity, Ms. Austin, will list those.
Say again, sir.
For clarity, we will list.
Yes, sir. Yes. It's not a problem.
Will you need this voted on tonight then before you get our list back? Or could we table this and, at the next meeting when you have it listed that we can approve?
We have our first payroll.
Oh, we
It's
need
coming
before that,
yes.
okay,
July 31st.
I got you. No problem.
Under assistant superintendent, we only have, it's just the assistant, not the associate for supplement.
What's the suggestion?
Yeah, so the assistant superintendent, we treat them one as the same, when it comes to that, but whatever guidance you want to provide, for supplement wise, you treat them one and the same. Now, for its title and role, that's distinguished upon what their responsibilities are.
But the assistant superintendent does qualify for the supplement.
By definition of their role, they could possibly qualify for that supplement.
Yes.
We need to list that also. Well,
There was a change in that from what we had discussed now.
There was a change in the,
In the
amount
pay.
of
And the amount,
assistance,
and the
so-
line code.
The amount was it's 12,000 for,
not supplement amount, regular pay.
No, you're talking about supplement amount.
Right, when it came to the associate, it was this discussion was no increase in pay, just change the title.
Right.
Mhm.
So is it an increase in pay or just change the title?
I haven't made that determination, we're trying to figure this out now.
Yeah, I think what the question,
You know,
the question was he eligible for it? And you did answer that and say
You
yes.
said yeah,
but
you
that
answered
was,
that. Now it's gonna be
I know
granted
that.
is the second question.
Let's talk about we have to talk about the position, we can't talk about a person.
Of course.
The associate, when we think in terms of that, we're aware of a number that was a difference.
Correct.
And so, with the total number, so before we go into executive session, we can put this up under the personnel part, and we will come back and deal with that at that time. we need to know those numbers.
Sure.
Because we are aware that there was a number difference.
Correct.
Okay.
So,
But technically, those four are not a number difference.
Yeah, there was a number difference. There was a number difference. There was a $500 number difference.
In reference to supplement.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And when I made the recommendation, I said that there was, with the title, at that time, that there was no increase in pay.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's good. Ms. Rice is correct. And so, that's what we need to make sure that that's the same. And so it needs to be listed as you say that, with the associate assistant.
Sure.
Okay? So we'll get that clarified, and we'll do that as part of personnel.
this schedule, okay, so what about moving on to?
We won't move on to
We
that.
won't move on anything there? Okay, so
We'll
we.
move on to part of personnel.
All right, so that will be
Maybe
moving.
we move on to that, all right?
Yes, we're gonna move on as part of personnel. When we come back to personnel.
Okay,
Given what this, y'all's issue and that issue, and we'll have that corrected, and this issue.
Oh, that's not the issue.
Well, not issue, but we'll take care of that, concern.
Question.
Yes.
all right, we will come back to that salary and supplement after our personnel executive session. And so our next item will be, Mr. King, he's going to present about our course offerings. This is an information item.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, Board members, Mr. Dixon. Each year, we bring before you our course offerings for the upcoming school year. Inside your packet, you will notice our 2019-2020 course offerings. For Jeffersonville Elementary, you will notice there were no changes there. We will still offer what we're required to offer, which is English, Math, Science, Social Studies. Of course, we will offer physical education, music, computer literacy, and remediation, as well as our early intervention program, and then our 5th grade band.
Yeah, that's good.
And then for our middle school, of course, we will still offer our English language arts, math, science, social studies. And then for our 6th and 7th graders, we offer different connection or electives, as you may want to call them, which is band, physical education, digital media course. We offer a STEM lab, remediation, and then this year we'll offer performing arts, such as music, theater, and dance. And then for our 8th grade, we will offer those same courses, but of course we'll allow our 8th graders to go ahead and begin, those that are ready to begin to take high school academic courses. Those 2 courses are Algebra 1 and Physical Science. But we then allow all of our 8th graders to be open to take high school course, high school band, high school physical, personal fitness and health, high school family consumer science, high school Spanish, high school basic ag. And what that is that allow them to go ahead and start with those high school credits early, so those students may begin to qualify for dual enrollment as they get on up in their career. We actually have some that started last year. They're going into the 9th grade with at least 4 credits. All of our 9th graders will start this year with at least 2. And then we also have some 9th graders who are already dual enrollment ready. With our high school, of course, English, we'll offer our 4 contents there, as well as math, science, and social studies. As you see, all those courses are listed. We still offer our physical education, our foreign language, our plant and landscape system, which is the correct wording for courses such as basic ag, horticulture, landscaping. We'll still offer our business and technology pathway, our nutrition and food science pathway, RTC, of course our band pathways, and then physical education. Listed there were other, we'll still offer our social skills and driver's ed, which help those students, that need to complete that course in order to get their driver's license. Some of the changes you'll notice at the bottom will be with our Central Georgia Tech courses. Of course, English and college algebra we've offered in the past and will continue to offer. Our cosmetology program will be offered this year, as well as we had students that began to take courses online through Central Georgia Tech, and I listed those courses out for you, such as Spanish, art appreciation, psychology, speech. Those courses are offered through online courses with Central Georgia Tech. And then our CNA, our Certified Nursing Assistance Program, we will offer again this year. And then those last three, welding, we've offered welding in the past. We did not get to offer welding last year due to Central Georgia Tech could not provide us with an instructor. But we've already secured an instructor for that, and we will be afforded the opportunity to offer welding for this upcoming school year. As well as our barbering program that's new from Central Georgia Tech. Our barbering program will be offered to those students that are interested in completing that pathway of barbering. One of the things we like to highlight about our barbering is Central Georgia Tech offers us anytime we can have one of our employees teach the class, they will take on our employee to teach that class, even though the employee is here with us all day. It helps our students to build that relationship with the employee, because with these other classes, the instructor comes in 5 minutes before class and the instructor's out the door. So the only time the students get to see the instructor is really during the class. But with our barbering, they have picked up one of our employees who will be with us all day in other areas that he's certified in, but he will offer barbering 5th and 6th period through Central Georgia Tech. So those students will take that course on our campus and receive that college credit to complete that program. And then we're excited about economics. This year we'll offer economics to some of our seniors. Instead of taking our high school economics course, they are allowed to take the college economic course, and they get credit for both. They're gonna get credit for being in high school economics, and then they're gonna take their economics course with them on to college. And if any of us have went through economics in college, economics is a difficult course once you get to college. So with our students, they're gonna be able to take it on campus with their classmates, and then think about it, they're still high school students, and the college professor takes that into consideration. They try to make sure they understand that they're still college students, but they provide them with the same rigor that a college class would have, but it's just in a more closed environment. So before you, there are the course offerings that we'll offer for the 2019-2020 school year. If you have any questions?
Can you name the online classes from CGTC offerings again?
Of course, if you starting there with Spanish 1101, they offer Spanish online. Of course, the art appreciation is online, psychology, and then the speech. And then also, those are the ones that are listed that our students have already been taken. So we started those last year, so we leave them open for anybody who wants to. But then you have some students who may find another course that they want to take, and if Central Georgia Tech offer it, we call Central Georgia Tech, we let them know we have a student that's interested, they go ahead and get us a slide in there, and then of course we'll have that for our course as well.
We had some students who called, their parents called, they called for this summer, and they're enrolled in some online courses this summer.
In our near future, have we discussed the possibility of some of our online opportunities for CGTC to be taken on campus at Twiggs online?
They are.
Even though the students are taking the class online, we'll allow them to take it on campus.
Okay.
So that they're here, they do it during the day. We don't, we try to shy away from them taking the course home and take it.
Right.
We want them to take it on campus. So if I'm taking Spanish and I struggle, we have a Spanish instructor here who you may can go by and say, you know, I need a little help with this. Same thing with our other courses that they offer. So even though they're online, they still take them. They may go to the media center, they may go to another area, but they take it on during campus. We give them that block to take it on campus.
And is there a possibility that we'd be able to do that during the summer, so they can be even another semester ahead?
That's a good
When school is open,
Good.
I know one of the ones who called and taking courses this summer, when I called back to check, I finished, what did you finish with, 95 and 96? So,
Can we make sure that all parents are aware of this so that they can get on board?
Absolutely. And one of the things that,
Advertising.
I talked with, the high school counselor about is, we have to make sure our students understand the importance of taking, when they sit to take that test, because a lot of them don't take the test seriously, and they lose out on opportunities. So there's a lot of students who can take advantage of it, but they don't make the program ready mark. So when they sit for that AccuPlacer, they just kind of rush those out as another test. But I talked with her about this year, as we begin the school year, as we open up, we gotta make sure our students understand this test not only give me opportunities, but it helps me go into college. These are college courses that you don't have to pay for once you start to enroll in school. So we have begun that discussion to talk to students and then our parents as well, to help us make sure our students understand that this is a very important and a great opportunity to take advantage of.
I would like to see some flyers too, so pass out in the community at the games or whatever.
We've got to do a bigger and better job with that. But we've got some great, one of the things that saddened me is our kids have not taken full advantage, especially with our welding. I mean, we've been offering welding now for a while, and one of the reasons why I think that CGCT haven't been as committed with making sure that we've had a welding instructor has been the lack of interest from our kids. We had one student, which was a female, who she was one course away from being certified and decided. And I was like, wow, if you only knew what this could do for you, and as smart as she was and what she was going on to do. Just to have that on her resume, that would separate her from, if whether she used it or not, but just to have that. So we're providing opportunity, and we just got to do a better job of educating our parents and our stakeholders about what we're providing with them.
And if we can get, I know you said we didn't have like one, it was, not that many that signed up. If we can get our teachers and, our staff to help motivate these kids to let them know, hey, you need to get in this, I know they can't make them, but I think we can get more than one if we get our staff, our people to get out and talk and let the kids know.
Well, I think one of the things that we're doing, that this board has done, is made a commitment. For instance, we're providing a facilitator for them to be in the class with that extra support to be there. That's another thing too, because what we did not want to do was to provide our students in an environment for them not to be successful, because one of the things that was a hindrance to us was that we didn't want to offer them so many college courses and them not have the support, especially online. When we first got started, my hesitation was that they would offer a lot of online, but I wanted a live person. But now that we're doing a hybrid of online and face-to-face, but we tried to offer a facilitator in there for somebody for them to be able to go to, and I think that does help.
And one thing that's gonna help push our numbers when we talk about those courses, starting this upcoming year for Central Georgia Tech, for dual enrollment, they have degree and diploma ready. So those courses like Central Georgia Tech, which are diploma, not Central Georgia Tech, like cosmetology that are diploma. Some students want to take advantage of it, but they could not make the AccuPlacer. So what they've done now is the AccuPlacer is no longer a requirement for courses like that, for cosmetology and things like that. But if they start to take those academic rigorous courses, they have to pass the AccuPlacer. So we'll be able to allow more students to do things such as like cosmetology, the barbering, the welding, that kind of stuff, because they don't have to pass the AccuPlacer now. They have to at least take it and try to score well on it. But for those colleges like English and math, they have to pass it. So I think our numbers will boost now because more students can take advantage of it. Those that wanted to, and they couldn't because they couldn't get the score on the test.
And like with our barbering, he's, our employee, and he will be teaching special ed the other parts of the day when he's not teaching barbering. And I think that we can also, that would be an earlier time that we can introduce our kids to barbering, because he's here with us. We don't have to wait until high school. So the more of our staff that we can get that can do it on both ends helps us too.
I spoke with an instructor today who came last year, brings in to the middle school, and Mr. Harris, and the, Starbase after-school program, and she's so excited. They're gonna be doing, last year they did computer programming, and this year they're gonna do robotics, and have a robotics team, and she's so excited, and that just made me get even more excited about it. She's like, I've gotta build this robot, and I'm coming to the open house, and she just went on and on about it, so she's very excited about
Well,
it.
we have a meeting on Monday. Ms. Judy will be at the meeting, and Dr. Ramsey will be at the meeting, and we have Mr. Cook, will be from Warren Robins, about our robotics, and all that on Monday. So, we're already in the planning phase.
She's excited. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you so much, Mr. Quinn. Then our next item will be a bond bus, FY20 bond bus. This is an information item. Mr. Basin, I'm so sorry.
It's mine.
Good evening, board members, board chair, and stakeholders. I bring good news tonight. Like some other times I'm here telling you what's wrong. We're really fortunate. In FY19, we were fortunate to get a allocation for a bond bus. And the bond bus is the legislature and the government decides to allocate buses on FTE needs, miles of roads driven. And of course, we're one of the largest, most sparse counties in the state of Georgia. We drive more miles on our buses than the average county. So we were fortunate to get a bus last year, and to our surprise, we were allotted a bus again this year. Now, when the state allots a bus, it's just like how it allots a teacher. It does not pay for the whole bus. The allocation amount that you see before you is $77,200, $220. Well, that might buy you a really nice Mercedes or minivan, but it doesn't buy you a completed bus. Next slide. The actual cost to purchase the bus, a 72 passenger, which is the makes up the bulk of our fleet. We just started buying 90 passenger buses on last year. Runs a base price of $82,421. That is the base price. Now, when we say fully equipped, $91,000, that is a bus that has air conditioning, a two-way radio, mud flaps, a headliner, all of those different things that we consider fully equipped. That base bus does not have that. And it would be very expensive to have that done in the secondary market. So they do that, we tell them, and they do that on the line. And just so we have an option and kind of understand where we are, 90 passenger bus is $117,000 fully equipped. We find ourselves like our neighbor Wilkinson County, as they're more and more deciding to buy 90 passenger buses. Why? As we are condensing and it's harder to get bus drivers, we want to put more kids on buses. For us, we're trying to make sure that when we leave the county, we're able to leave the county on as few buses as possible when we're going out of town. And also limit the exposure to maintenance issues, because we have fewer buses, there's fewer buses we have to fix on the road, those sorts of items. So the actual cost of purchase are those, right there, next slide. And this is the cost to the district. If the district decides to buy the 72 passenger base bus with nothing on it, no air, no mud flaps, no radio, the cost to the district will be $5,201. A fully equipped 72 passenger bus, the cost to the district will be $13,800. And if the district decides to purchase a 90 passenger bus, it would be, the cost to the district would be $39,800 fully equipped. There's advantages. One, we're fortunate, we were not expecting another bus. Usually Twiggs County earns a quarter of a bus a year. So usually it takes us 4 years to get another bus. So I wasn't looking, I was going to be retired by the time we got to our next bond bus on the regular schedule. So whatever calculation, whoever had the calculator this year, we thank them very much, because they slipped in our favor. So what we need to decide is where would we like to be, the $39,800 for the 90-passenger bus, or the $13,800 for the 72 passenger. There are some advantages, definitely, as when we condense in our route. If we have to collapse a route because our bus drivers are getting older, it is harder to get bus drivers. Is something that we really haven't faced as a county. Other people around us have, but our bus drivers have been loyal, they've been local, and they've been willing to do the impossible as far as getting our trips. Because remember, from here to anywhere is 30 miles. You know, and 30 miles back. So that's 70 miles to go. So a lot of times, and we want to thank some of our bus drivers who are going to be honored later on, and Mr. Jack and a lot of other people who drive these buses. Coaches have been picking up a lot of slack lately. So like I said, it is an honor to get a new bus. It's going to help the fleet tremendously. And when we, with this bus, we're doing some route collapsing. We had one bus last year on our routes that did not have air conditioning. When Chief and I finished the last numbers, all buses who are route buses on our regular route will have air conditioning. When we have that, we'll actually have a spare bus that will have air conditioning. So if one bus is down, you know, we have to bring out old faithful 99.2 and 99.1. You know, they run slow, but they run ready and regular. So it's hot, and there was an expose last year by WMAZ on hot buses. And every parent in the county called us about how hot the buses were, or what they're concerned, did we have air conditioning, did their child was on a bus with air conditioning. So those things are really impacting the county, impacting our customer service, and that's what it is of our riders as they ride. So I do have prepared the purchase order, because any purchase that we make over the amount of $25,000 must get board approval. So we're seeking approval. First, we're asking questions. Anybody have any questions about the bond bus, the timeline to get the bus? The timeline to get the bus. No matter what bus we order, if we order it tomorrow, we're looking at January of getting that bus in.
Does this include the cameras like we've got on the buses now?
Actually,
Or do we
no,
do that?
no, it does not include the cameras, but fortunately, when we did our last SPOS, we bought additional cameras, so we have our own cameras that are already been purchased, so we can do that ourselves.
This is listed as an information item. If the board sees fit, they can move something
Okay.
around
That's
to
right.
make this an
Oh,
action
okay.
item if you so choose. So that's,
Oh,
so
I'm
just,
sorry, it is
if that's
information.
something that we choose to do.
One of the things that with the buses, once we order our bus, it takes a while to get it, so we have to get it in the lineup, to get it. We can leave it as an information, item. We just need to have some discussion about basically, about what kind of interest that you think you might have,
So,
when
yeah.
we decide when we're going. If you had any, do you think we're gonna be leaning towards a 72 or 90? We have some some needs for the 90, because as our bus drivers are getting older and we have fewer, that will help us as we collapse some routes. You can definitely do that with the 90. It's a blessing to be able to get the 72. So we are fortunate to be able to get either one, but definitely the 90 helps us to be able to do some things that we, and also the 39, some of the 39 or some of the 5 or some of the 13 could be taken out of SPOS if we have some SPOS dollars available with that, because buses, even though we get the 72 from the state, 77 from the state, we can use SPOS for buses.
We don't have a 90 passenger bus.
We have one.
Yes, ma'am.
We have one.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
That would give us 2.
How much more bus is that in feet,
It's,
yards, whatever you want to
it's
call it?
about 9 feet longer, about. So, yes, we do have some difficulties, in our route selection where we put a 90 passenger bus because of some of the turnarounds.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as our field trips and being able to take class level field trips for us, it's been the best thing. Because instead of having 2 drivers that need to leave, I only need one. So, as we're looking at trying to do what we call express routes, that's something we learned about this summer, where if I can get kids on the bus here and not have any local routes all the way to Dry Branch and have enough kids to just hit Dry Branch, I can make the route not the distance the same, but they can get there quicker because there are fewer drop-offs. If we had a bigger bus, we can take all of that. So we're looking at options where we can do that. And also, if we don't have the staffing, is an issue. The staffing is an issue that we're looking at. Our bus drivers are in, the average age is about 60. And a lot of times when they come talk to us, they're talking to us about Social Security and retirement. That's the conversation, how can they, help us retire and still, drive the bus and help us and help themselves. So we have those conversations, but it's a scary conversation. Where will we be in 5 years? And if you notice at Wilkinson County, pretty much, their whole fleet is now 90 passenger flat nose buses as they're doing longer routes. The thing that we are scared of is that we don't want our kids on the bus so long, because we do have some kids on the bus for an hour and 20 minutes. So we don't want to extend that so long. So there's a lot of variables. This puts us in the best shape if we have the money for whatever we want to do later on, since somebody else is picking up majority of the tab. And we may be in the next 4 or 5 year cycle. So this may be, you got 1 blessing, you got 2 blessings, next blessing's 5 years away. So we need to make the best decision. So if you divide that out, whatever you're gonna pay, the average length of a bus is about, for us, for the school world, is 12 years. For us, it's 20. We keep a bus in our fleet 20 years. So whatever that is divided by 20 is pretty much what you really are investing over that time.
Does, do the 90 passenger bus have, storage underneath also?
It does have storage, and what we found out with our first bus is that storage is limited. You can put some things like lunch for the kids, some coolers, things like that. When we heard storage, we all think, at first we thinking Greyhound, you can put the whole thing in. It's very limited, unless you want to spend another $10,000 or $15,000. They can do something a little bit different, and even with that, it's not what we would say, hey, we're taking these kids to Florida for 3 or 4 days and we're gonna put all their luggage. And that's kind of what we really wanted to do, but we can put some couple coolers, the stuff for the, athletic teams to go, their stuff. But we found ourselves that it was not what we thought it would be initially, for the price in the price range that we were willing.
But it does help us when we don't have to have, it doesn't take up seating when we're doing our sporting,
Yes.
because the cheerleaders stuff can go up under there and,
Yeah,
some of the
yeah,
equipment.
it does
can go.
help.
I was gonna say, with that many kids on the bus, what about, I know we talked about monitors, or if we can get, for the safety, like you said, with that long ride, this is another story about it.
Mhm.
But we would definitely need, if we do get that, we would definitely
Depending
need
on
somebody to,
Who, and we, in our meeting this week, we talked about who, because of that issue, of what we
Safety.
discussed that.
If there's no further questions, thank you.
So, thank you,
Oh.
Mr. Bacon, but we, well, before anything, if the board chooses to make this into an action item, then we would need to vote that in first. So if anybody wants to do that, anybody feels led, if anybody has any comment about that.
Oh, what in first?
For the vote, this is, the bond bus issue was listed as an information item, and if we want to go ahead and move on this and make a decision, then we need to change that, we need to move to change that into an action item.
I don't have no problem with that.
What's your turnaround time, show the bus?
If we order tomorrow morning, we're looking at December, January. That's what the sales rep told us.
You want it now?
I want it today.
We need to get in the lineup.
Yeah, and they won't, that's him speculating until we have a actual signed purchase order with a purchase order, number in his hand, then we get scheduled into production.
Madam Chair, I motion that we change, amend our agenda to change this bond bus from an information item to an action item.
Second.
The motion has been made by Mr. Harris and seconded by Mr. Rouse to change our item F, the FY 20 bond bus, from an information item to an action item. Is there any discussion on that? All in favor, please raise your hands. Okay, and so now, we have 3 buses here, and that motion carries unanimously. I'm sorry, Ms. Stokes, you said yes on that? That carries unanimously. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, sorry. So you see the 3 buses there, the 72 passenger base, the fully equipped, and the 90 passenger. So, Mr. Dixon, what is your recommendation?
Madam Chair, my recommendation will be that we seek, the 90 passenger with air.
And that is the price, that with air is the price that's listed there?
Yes, you're there. It's our price.
Is the price, yes. Okay, so you've heard the presentation by Mr. Bacon, you've heard our superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion for the 90 passenger, or is there a motion to, go ahead with one of the buses listed here
Move that motion
for the 90
for the
passenger?
time.
Okay. The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Mr. Rouse to approve the, purchase of the 90 passenger bus as discussed and as presented. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Bacon. And then our last item is an action item on our agenda, and it is, for our district request. Looks like a property request here.
Madam Chair, we have one property request, and, it's for, August 24th, 2019. We will, seek approval for use of property on August 24th.
You see the property request, and you've heard our request from Mr. Dixon regarding the property that we have here. Is there a motion to approve the property request as presented?
Move that motion.
Second.
The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Ms. Stokes to approve the property request presented here. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. And at this time, I entertain a motion to move into executive session for personnel matters.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
The motion has been made by Ms. Stokes and seconded by Mr. Rouse to move into executive session for personnel matters. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. Shall we turn? All right, is there a motion to return to regular session from executive session?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
The motion has been made by Ms. Stokes and seconded by Mr. Rouse to return to regular session from executive session. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. And our discussion in executive session was personnel issues and our personnel situation. So going through that, if you look at the last four digits of the CID, that will be the number that we will identify these with. Is there a motion to approve the hiring of CID 4263 middle grades math teacher, Twiggs County Middle High School?
I'll make that motion.
The motion has been made by Ms. Stokes. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been seconded by Mr. Harris to approve the hiring of 4263 for middle grades math teacher at Twiggs County Middle High School. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. Is there a motion to approve CID 0702 nutrition substitute?
I'll make that motion too.
The motion has been made by Ms. Stokes and seconded by Mr. Rouse. Did you second,
Yes.
Mr. Rouse? For 0702 for nutrition substitute. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. So we have a rescindment of a contract for EID 0171, middle grade math teacher, Twiggs County Middle High School. Is there a motion to accept that rescindment of the contract?
I move that motion.
Second.
The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Mr. Rouse to approve the rescindment of the contract for EID 0171. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the retirement for EID 0701 for the bus driver transportation?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
The motion has been made by Ms. Stokes and seconded by Mr. Rouse to approve 0171 for the retirement for the bus driver. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. Is there a motion regarding EID 3715 resignation? JES. VP. Please let me know if you need a few more moments to think about that.
Motion
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 failed. That motion failed, the resignation, acceptance failed, so that failed. All right, we're gonna move on to the transfers and appointments. EID 3694, transfer parapro to music teacher, Twiggs County Middle High School.
I move that motion.
Motion's been made by Ms. Blackshear. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Rouse. All in favor, please raise your hands. That motion carries unanimously. Is there a motion for 0305, transfer office to paramanager, Media Center, Twiggs County Middle High School?
Madam Chair, that should read, Media Center, transfer to Twiggs County Middle High School /JES.
/JES. So
Yes.
is there a motion to approve that transfer, 0305, office to paramanager, Media Center, Twiggs County Middle School, and JES?
For clarity, can you restate the EID and the official title?
Yes, 0305, transfer office to paramanager, Media Center, Twiggs County Middle High School, and JES.
I'll make that motion.
Motion has been made by Ms. Stokes. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Blackshear. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. Is there a motion to approve the transfer for EID 3768, pre-K to SPED JES?
I made that motion.
Madam Chair, excuse me, that pre-K to SPED, and that would be TCMS Middle School.
Okay,
Middle
so
high.
not JES.
That's right, correct.
Okay, so,
Twiggs County Middle High School.
okay, so we may need to have that restated, because let me
Yes,
make
please.
that clear, please. Is there a motion to approve, the transfer of EID 3768 from pre-K to SPED, Twiggs County Middle High School?
I made that motion.
The motion has been made by Mr. Harris. Is there a second? Seconded by Ms. Blackshear. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. And then is there a motion to approve the transfer of EID 3520, parapro to paramanager for driver's education and front office?
I'll make that motion.
Motion has been made by Ms. Stokes. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Rouse. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously, and that ends the personnel recommendations as discussed in our executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion too.
Second motion.
Motion has been made by Ms. Stokes and seconded by Mr. Rouse to adjourn. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries.